Good morning, everyone. Today's the 26th of November. Here we are looking at the ES. I do make this Moneyball morning report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band. And what we see is that this opening candle formation at 6 p.m. was a savage dip that really continued for the better part of 3 hours. Well, 2.5 or so, and then it starts lifting. We're about to break over it. That's the 60-20 line. If we break above it and hold like this, but not seeing a wick, we will get to 60-35 and then 60-55 or so. All right, it is by the dip. Yesterday, it was also by the dip, but it took us, look at how many hours. 1, 2, 3, 4 hours before we bought the dip. Now, you could turn around and sell into support, just remembering that the overall trend, and that's the only reason you want to put a trend line up, the overall trend line says, buy the dip. This is what we continue to see. It continues to be a buy the dip formation, no breakdowns, showing everyone comes to the rescue at the appropriate time. So our choice is going to be, hey, can I find this appropriate time? Major liquidity area at 59.86 to 59.80. That would be the sweet spot for a buy for me. If it breaks to the north, maybe above 60.21 or so, no, 60.25 or so, the pullbacks into 60.21 will be a buying formation for us. So that's what we're looking at right now. I think it's probably going to be a little bit of a stall, so I would not chase it out just yet, right? My thought is we could have ourselves an inventory correction based on what's going on here, but it looks like inventory might have already corrected, so it's a little bit of a coin toss. Upwards, 60.35, 60.53. Downwards, if per happenstance that happens, I don't really think it will, but if it does, 59.57 to 59.70 becomes the new test zone for the chart. Let's take a look at the NQ. All right, same sort of thing, a little bit weaker, I'm not going to lie, right? If we do the wicks, these wicks are steep, right? And you can see what we're doing is reverting to some sort of mean, right? We're not really heading higher. We're also not heading lower, but this is how price action looks when it's reverting to some sort of bigger mean on a daily or weekly time frame. And so what we are seeing, base of heavy support for several hours yesterday, and then here again, by the dip into resistance because of this big moving average here. You know what? I am going to, let's see if I can get this guy out of here. Clean it up a little bit. Of course I can't. Won't let me. All right, we'll figure that out later. So here's the battleground. It's moved up to 960 or so, but it's still stalling out here. What is my thought? Listen, if it breaks, old buyers become new sellers. So they're thinking it's going to break down. But here's the thing. It's holding pretty well. And if it holds, it's likely to break, right? We just don't want it to lose that support. What is that support? It's all the way down at 912 to 915. That became the new resistance zone in the market yesterday. And so we'll be staring that down. If that 915 to 914 loses its ledge, we're going to move back into the 880 area, maybe even 850. Dips are buys. We have momentum, but this is a very strong group of sellers that are trying to push price down. All right, this one's a beast, right? Buy the dip. It came right into the floor at 44,620. I was hoping for 44,430. Never gave it to us. Couple hours down and then rode the rest up. This looks like a topping formation, right? So here's the thing. If everyone thinks it's a topping formation and they're selling it here, what's the trap? Well, the trap is that if it continues to make higher lows, They're going to get caught and they're going to have to recover. Now, notice the difference in slopes for these trend lines, right? Right here at the edge, what's going to happen? Buyers are going to try and come in here. That's the 44,620 area from yesterday. I think it's going to be a good buy zone, but it needs to behave by not losing its purchase right here. Okay, so below 44,620, we've got an auction gap, and that takes us down to 44,400, and then potentially 44,300. If we break above 44,915, we've got 45,050 ahead. If we draw ourselves a little box of congestion, that looks more than fair. The top of the range gives us 45,230. I love the measured moves, and wouldn't you know it, half back or halfway up is about 45,060. All right, dips or buys, a lot of people coming in here to buy. I like it as a buy zone in this area, and we also see the ES and the NQ sort of pressing to the north. This is the half back zone, right? Halfway through the range, and they are battling that. That's 44,700. That is a buy zone at this juncture. Bitcoin. Ah, yes. We talked about this fade. We did. So let's draw a new one. Let's remove this and let's take a peek at what might be happening with the current range, right? Here's the box. I'm going to widen it here. I'm going to drag it all the way across. Value area low, what should be happening? Right here, right? Looks like the halfback. It's the VWAP, or is that the point of control? No, it's the point of control. A lot of sellers and buyers here. But in the end, what is the big trend? The big trend is by the dip. It's broken down. I think this one got ahead of itself, if you want to know my real thoughts. And let's see. Let me hide this. Sorry about taking so long here today. If we take a look at the big picture, the very big picture, we were building a little volume, low volume pocket, right there at 80,000. Easily, we come back there. If I were a betting man, I would say the real box we're going to test is this one down here, right? It's going to, what we're in the process doing now is shaking out weak hands. So here's what's likely to happen. See this? Close of this week at 91,000. First group of buyers probably going to pop in there, right? Right around 91,500, 91,600. So there we have that. If they punch into 94,000, then it could bring a lot of buyers back in, but then all the trapped buyers up here are going to try to flatten. My thought is we come all the way back down into this box. Let's clone it. Oh, for goodness sakes. Remove this fib. Little bit up over the edge. So we're going to draw another one to the north. And then we're going to draw one more to the south. Half back gives us this heavy congestion zone at 42,000. Now, is 42,000 going to happen? I have no idea, but I tell you what, Bitcoin has a habit of doing this sort of thing. So what are we looking at today? This is most definitely sell the bounce, but the bounce could be significant. So I'd say if you're into it, sit on one side of the trade, let it, see if it holds this point of control here. If not, it's going to drift down to 90. If you want to short it to 90, have at it. My thought is wait for the 90, 88 region, then try a little bit of a buy on the bounce. Let it recover. Let it recover before you go long, because I believe this chart is shaking out a lot of late arrivals to the party. So, that being said, let's take a look at this. Got a little technical divergence, but it still is by the dip. Look at how, good grief. This thing came into 595 almost on the nose. and now it's above 598.80. This to me is a breakout formation. It's a clear breakout formation into what? Into resistance. It's not a breakaway, but it is a breakout. And testing 600, not out of the question at all. Where's the best buy? 596 to 595.80. If it loses 595.80, stay out of the way. Listen, patience is going to help you win this game. 593.86, bottom of the shelf, as it were. Taking a look here, we've also got in the cues, we've got this buy the dip formation. The opening moves last night were, I don't know if that's some kind of news or whatever. I haven't stared that down enough, I think. Let's look at heavy congestion as our trend line. We'll leave it right there for now. That is clearly upward pressure. Some people are thinking, oh, you know what? It's a bear flag. Possibly. But how about we let it move through our cycle trends, buy the dip. Where is that? 506 all the way to 504.30, right? Heavy congestion here. These buyers became sellers, and they're going to try and sell again with the lower high and these lower tests. So you want to be careful. I believe tech is weaker than at the others because we've got sector rotation in progress, and we know NVIDIA is having a little bit of a pity party, as it were, right? Here it is breaking down a little bit. My thought is that NVIDIA is going to sit in the 125 to 130 area for several months, well into the next earnings cycle. But that's just me. Let's take a look at oil very quickly. Yesterday, everybody was saying, oh my gosh, look at oil breaking down. Here's the thing, folks. Look at where oil came into. Look at our box. Right into the ledge. They started buying it right up. 68.40, big line in the sand. If you're saying to yourself, Anne-Marie, I'm trying to catch these bounces, and here's how you do it. First of all, the first thing that has to happen is you stop going lower. The second thing that's got to happen is that you break frontline resistance. And then the third thing, if it's not a V bottom on a normal cycle, when it comes in and tests old support as reclaimed support, Bob's your uncle. You're off to the races. Where are you going to in this case? Resistance, the top of the box. Me, I always go, I'm going to take some early. I'm very bad at closing my positions too early. It's a curse of mine, but I do tend to close it ahead because I see noisy action like this. Look at the slope of the VWAP. Pullbacks are going to be buy zones. This is likely to run up. Everybody's on the road. Big travel season, big flight season. More people have flights booked than in a very long time. This is a buy the dip formation right down here because we're caught in this box. Watch for the lows to hold for your sweet spot. If it runs away, don't fret. You know what's going on. Wait for the next cycle and watch it up through that particular box. That is a golden event. All right, here we are finally with gold. Speaking of golden events, where are we? Value area low, double bottoming bounce. Where is the last heavy congestion zone? Holy smokes. It's this box way back here. What day is this? It's way back here. September. Not so far away, but still. Here's the box. See how we do. Yep. Sitting on the edge of the box. All right. So what do we anticipate? Dip buying. Dip buying at the 2600 area. Now, where's it going? Probably to resistance, right? If I clone this and I move it down, we've got a test of the prior low. Oh my goodness, that's almost on the money. 25.40. If we clone it up, we've got 27.30. Also, wouldn't you know it, old resistance. So, yes, you can buy the dip only into resistance and then watch for the fade. All right, that's it for me, folks. A little bit long, but hopefully you got a lot out of it and it can help you with your trading day today. Zoom members, sorry, between admin work and suffering with the a bit of a bug. Couldn't do yesterday, but we'll see you at the Moneyball Midday Report today. Take care.